Hello and welcome. This is Mark Silver with Heart of Business, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, George Kao. George, welcome. It's
Thank
great
you
to
so
have you here.
much. Always great to talk with you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Well, at this point, we've known each other for years. George is someone that I respect tremendously because he is really committed to ethical marketing in his business, and he's radically changed his business from its earliest days to make it accessible, to make it there's no hype involved. He's really focused on practical stuff, and he has a ton of experience, and he has a huge heart, and he cares. And we've had a ton of Heart of Business clients who have done courses with George, and heard nothing but good things about him. I don't know. I don't know if you guys could hear that, the call to prayer going off
It's great.
midday. Catch that later.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, George is just I'm really, really grateful that you're in the world. And the one other thing I want to add before we dig into today's topic around LinkedIn is that something I really respect, another thing, of the many things I really respect about you is that I see you take something on, one thing, and go in depth with it and learn about it and dig into it and figure it out and then translate it and share what you learn with other folks. And you tend to have um, uh, an approach that is so in alignment with how we teach our marketing principles, and is something that's very relational and is not yeah, there's technique involved, absolutely, but um, it's not mechanical, it's caring. And we at Heart of Business have recently dug into LinkedIn. We gave up on Facebook when they started anyway. There's a lot of reasons we gave up on Facebook advertising, but uh and we had switched to LinkedIn, and then I found out you're doing the same thing. So anyway, I'm really curious to hear what you've been up to with LinkedIn, and if there's anything that you want to add in terms of context or framing before we dig
Yeah.
in.
No, I appreciate you allowing me to share this. I am still doing some Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and I wanted to broaden the sort of like the platforms and just test out LinkedIn as well. I've tried Google ads, I've tried YouTube ads, I've tried Twitter ads, and I just found those other three to be either too difficult, like more difficult than I like. Meaning, I'm always thinking, okay, if I'm doing something, how can I teach this? Can I can my most of my clients actually take this on? And with Twitter ads is much simpler, but it's very expensive. With Google ads and YouTube ads, like to get it right, my God, it's like you need an agency basically at that point. With LinkedIn ads, though, it was surprisingly easy, actually easier than Facebook and Instagram ads. And the nice thing about it is that when people click like or love or whatever for your LinkedIn ads, you can look at their profiles, and it's so much more information than a typical Facebook user or Instagram user. When they click like, you're like, Instagram, it's like their account's private. Oh, great. Okay, I don't know anything about them. Or on Facebook, they have 200 friends, and then they like soccer or whatever. That's it. It's like all we know about them. Sometimes when they hide a bunch of stuff. So I want to show you actually on screen, and this is something that I haven't even shared publicly yet. So I'm hoping it's not too much to share in this kind of short conversation. But I want to share with you briefly my recent tests between Facebook and Instagram ads. I'm just sharing with you my spreadsheet here. Deep breath. I'm not trying to. Okay, right. I'm not trying to get you all to understand everything. What I want to show you primarily is just on this screen alone. You could see that this is Instagram, this is Facebook, these are LinkedIn, Facebook, LinkedIn. I've already tested Instagram and Facebook a lot, so I don't test it as much on this sheet, but I'm testing the LinkedIn stuff. And here's one you pay attention to this. Pay attention to total score and cost per like. What does this mean? Now, ignore everything else for now. I score the ad in terms of how many people liked it and whether the people who liked it are my ideal clients, potential clients, or not. And I have a certain scoring system. I look at each person who likes likes my post on the ad, etc. And you could see here, my recent tests show me that Instagram and Facebook get a score of 1 and 0.5, whereas LinkedIn, look at this, LinkedIn ads are getting 5.5, 7, 5, 4. So you see, Facebook. So what this is saying is that the quality of people that I'm able to reach via LinkedIn ads is so much higher compared to the quality of people I'm reaching on Facebook and Instagram, at least for the information I'm able to see from who they are. However, you can also see that the cost per like is generally higher. $5, $12.50, $12.50. The cost per like is generally higher on LinkedIn ads than on the Facebook and Instagram ads. It's something like, let's just say, can be up to double, right? And not necessarily, because this Facebook ad did really poorly. But this LinkedIn ad was really expensive. So, but generally it's more expensive, but the quality of people reaching is far higher. So in other words, you really get what you pay for, and maybe you get even more than what you pay for with LinkedIn ads. And with LinkedIn ads, I'll just show you. I mean, I'm an open book, so I'm happy to show you guys anything you want. But I'm just going to show you real quick, some of the ads I'm running right now. This is an ad I'm running right now, and the nice thing about LinkedIn ads, like I said, it's easy to do compared to Facebook Ads Manager. You could basically boost posts on LinkedIn. Now, this is important. I have to show you. You can only do it if you're using a LinkedIn company page.
Right.
Okay, so this is important.
But similar to like Facebook, you have to be
It's similar to Facebook.
Right.
You have to have a Facebook business page to run ads. You can't do it on your personal profile. So I started building my company page, like, I don't know, what was it? I started it like a year ago or something, but I really actually started building it, like creating content around it, maybe like 6 months ago. So I only have 215 followers right now on my company page. People are still kind of discovering me. And what I do is basically whenever I write something on my company page, I then go ahead and share it immediately. Two shares. One of them is me. What you post on your company page, and you click on the button, you click copy link to post. You go to the home screen, which is your personal profile, and you paste the link that you just copied, and it automatically puts that post here. So when you share it, it shows your profile first, and then it shows your company page, and it shows the actual post. So I'm just showing you, this is a quick crash course to how to do LinkedIn ads. You got to start your company page. You start posting on there, and then you'll notice that with many of your company page posts, you can just boost it, click boost, and kind of go from there. You can't do it with everything though. You can't do it with articles, which is really dumb. I don't know why they don't like, but you could do it with text only posts. You can do it with, I do a lot of text only posts because I feel like it's pretty effective. You could do it with links. If you post links to your own blog post, you could okay, for example, this is an offer. You can boost a link to one of your web pages. You could do it with, you could boost a video if you want to. You could boost an image based. This is to a YouTube post, a YouTube video. You could boost that too. I'm just trying to scroll down to see if I can find an image.
I see what you're saying.
Anyway, yeah.
Can we take a step back? There's a question I want to ask that may be top of mind, because it was something that I've had a LinkedIn profile for years, which I just didn't touch. It just sat there. I got it whenever I got it, and then you and I have businesses that are aimed at business owners, right? We're trying to help people develop businesses. I had avoided it for a long time, like many people did, because it has such a corporate reputation. It's like, oh, people in corporations, which is not my market. It's not your market. But what I've learned is that that's not entirely true. There's lots of solo and small business owners on there. But do you have a sense from your own clients and your own work, like what kinds of businesses do well on LinkedIn? Because I don't think it's a platform for everyone. There's some businesses that probably wouldn't solo or small businesses that probably
Yeah.
wouldn't do well on
Right.
LinkedIn, or they wouldn't find their people there as easily. Do you have a
Yeah.
sense of that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, LinkedIn, I'll just run the numbers real quick. There's 800 and was it 830 million users in 200 countries. And so think about it, 830 million users compared to Facebook's 2 billion. And Instagram, I think Instagram is now almost 1.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something like half how many Instagram users. I'm just going to do this real quick. 1 billion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost as many users as Instagram. Okay. And if you think about it, there are 4 billion or 4 or 5 billion internet users in
Mm-hmm.
just people who have access to the internet. And almost a quarter of them are using LinkedIn. And so essentially, if you take the quarter of internet users that are basically higher income, and have a job or have a business, that's pretty much the LinkedIn audience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So essentially, no, I agree with you. I mean, I've been seeing clients who deal with all kinds of industries find potential clients through LinkedIn. It's just that you have to understand the typical, well, okay, I was going to say that the typical etiquette used to be on LinkedIn that you go there when you are celebrating a job anniversary, or like you have a promotion, or
Mm-hmm.
you have some kind of industry news you want to share. But that's changed over the last really 5 years. It's become more as just a content platform for people who have jobs or who want better jobs,
Right.
or who have a business, which is pretty much, well, I would say many of the potential clients, I mean, anyone, whoever's watching this video right now,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at your clients, how many of them, now, I know some people work with retirees, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you work with like teenagers or something, like if you work with anyone between retirees and teenagers,
Right.
they probably have a LinkedIn profile. The question is whether they go on LinkedIn. That's another question, whether they actually surf LinkedIn. The thing is, most people are still receiving occasional LinkedIn emails like, oh, your colleague so-and-so just got a new job or something like that.
Right.
And then that might get them to go and surf LinkedIn and see your
So
content
you're
and post.
seeing that you do have clients that are in, non-corporate,
Yeah,
non like even like crunchy granola
sure.
kinds of,
Of course.
yeah, are
Yeah.
doing, and I'm bringing, it's like it's good to hear that echo, because I'm seeing more and more personal content. I say more and more. I'm
Oh,
not really
yeah.
been active on
Tons
there.
of person.
That learning.
Yeah.
So there's personal content. I'm seeing a good amount of social justice content. People
Oh,
talking about
political. Sure.
that kind of
Absolutely.
stuff, and so
Yeah.
it's not like I speaking as a middle-aged white man who might not see some of the things that other people with different identities might see. I'm not seeing the same level of trolling or flaming, or
Oh,
like
okay.
that kind,
I'm
like
so
the
glad
kind
you
of
mentioned this.
drama that happens on Facebook in terms of, you know
Yes,
and I
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. The reason is because well, LinkedIn is connected to your resume. It's connected, right? It's connected to all of your professional colleagues. So the comments you make on LinkedIn, that probably other professionals are going to look at this. And
Mm,
so there's a lot more courtesy, you might say. And so even when I post something, like when I post something controversial, which we both do sometimes just because we're going against the grain of some of the mainstream business stuff, when I post something controversial on Facebook, I will get the occasional nasty comment or just like thoughtless and insensitive comment. Person probably who didn't even read my post fully and who's just like criticizing it in a mean way. On LinkedIn, I don't see it. If someone has a critique of my the same post, they will say, "Oh, that's interesting. I have a different viewpoint. What do you think about the?" So it'll be a lot more collegial, I
mhm.
guess. So that's one of the benefits of using LinkedIn. And the other thing I want to say real key is we're not always talking to potential clients on LinkedIn. We're also talking to potential referral sources.
Right. Right. I
That's
think
really
it's really
important.
important. I've been seeing this too. I just want to highlight and echo that because some of the folks that I've been meeting on LinkedIn, definitely not clients, but they have, but by creating relationships of mutual trust and respect, like,
Yes.
yeah, definitely referral sources,
Hmm.
um, access to audiences. Um, I just, there's and because it's specifically branded as a networking site, there's like it's like it's part of the ethos of it. It's not seen as using someone.
Right.
It's seen as
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, it's a natural thing to kind of create referral networks, to create those kinds of connections. So
It's in
I'm glad
fact,
you
it's
mentioned that.
the whole platform was built on, hey, let's help each other in our professional lives.
Mhm.
And so it's natural to reach out to someone and say, hey, I appreciate your posts, or I felt like your profile, we might have some potential to support each other's business. It's very natural to do that. And so, and if you do it in a way that's thoughtful, there are a lot of LinkedIn, unfortunately, one of the things LinkedIn is known for in terms of the messaging is there's a lot of spam.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
Meaning when you start using LinkedIn, you're gonna get messages, especially from people in our industry, Mark, like
Mhm.
business coaches and marketing, people, experts who are like, hey, I can help you get clients or things like
Right.
that. And you'll see a lot of that spam, which of course you can always block and click spam, and I rarely get spam anymore because I've done so much of the blocking in the past and I just don't get it anymore. But if you reach out and you actually have looked at someone's profile and you talk about the things that you actually resonate with you instantly stand out in your messaging
Right, because it's
because most
real.
people don't.
It's something, right. It's a real thing. Well, that's awesome, and I know that we could go down this route, but for a while, but I wanted to just highlight the what LinkedIn is and who it's useful for and what it
Yes.
feels like as an encouragement. And I'd love to. I know we're going to try to keep this conversation short so people
Yeah.
can consume it easily, but I'd love to kind of switch back to where you were going before you were about to show us something. Um,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, and
Well,
I'd love to.
the thing I wanted to mention about the LinkedIn ads, right? Like why did I even start with that? Okay. Because a lot of people think, oh, LinkedIn, that means I gotta spice up my profile or make it more interesting sounding, and then start posting on there and start connecting with people, and hopefully people will come to my profile and yes, that will happen. But um if you notice that, gosh, it seems to be going slowly on LinkedIn, like I'm not getting the kinds of uh, contacts or inquiries about my work or whatever like that, then I think LinkedIn ads is something that's worth looking at because, well, with LinkedIn ads, you can reach as many of the right people as you want if you're willing to pay, some money on it. So you know, briefly about the money part with Facebook and Instagram ads, I tell people, listen, even if you want to start with $30 a month, $30 a month, you could reach, something like 1 to 3,000 people with $30 a month, targeted people. That's not bad at all. With LinkedIn, it costs more. Maybe with $30, you're able to reach, more like 300 to 1,000 people. But those people are much more targeted. So on LinkedIn, you could target people with with job titles. You could target job titles. You could also target people who are in various LinkedIn groups, which you can't do on Facebook and Instagram. You can't, like, we all wish we could run ads to people of certain Facebook groups. You can't do that.
Right.
On LinkedIn, you can. So there are many LinkedIn groups that have thousands of people or tens of thousands of people in certain industries, certain job titles, certain interests, even personal interests, like
Mhm.
yoga or whatever it might be, mindfulness or whatever it might
Right.
be, certain, spiritual things, lots of people. And you could target people who have those interests and job titles, and obviously you can filter down to locations very specific to. So this is why I'm like, okay, if you're going to use LinkedIn, I really recommend that you start, you know, posting content on your company page as well, and keep sharing your company page stuff to your profile so you can start building up a company page a bit, and then use your company page. You can boost those company page postings to reach more of the right people. And then like we've talked about, it's don't just think about potential clients, think about potential colleagues, referral sources, people who are like, oh wow, I didn't know there's this kind of service provider, and now I know, and this person's content's interesting, I might refer people to them. So think about that possibility.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I wanted to kind of go back, because when I said that we switched off of Facebook, we had recently run at that time 2 Facebook campaigns where we got 0 impressions. Like, they just didn't serve our ad up at
Wow.
all. And I have
Wow.
I have somebody who knows what they're doing helping
Yeah. Yeah.
me with
Yeah.
that. And previous to that, even the ads where we were spending money on it, we weren't. They were just there's been some revelations from people in the industry that Facebook doesn't tend to be very truthful about what's actually happening on the back end. Like, they'll say, well, we showed it to this many people, but did they?
Mm, mm.
And we were not, even when the ads were being served up, we were not getting the results. But already very quickly, we're seeing pretty high rates of response to our ads. And it is more expensive, but it's actually
On
it's
LinkedIn.
actually working on LinkedIn. It is more expensive
Yes.
on
Oh,
LinkedIn, but
that's
it's
great.
actually working.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I know there's a whole conversation to be had of like, oh, should you be spending money on advertising, or when is that appropriate, or what have you? But
Yeah.
I think that there is a certain, yeah, anyway, I don't want to get into that. That's a whole conversation, which, I'm sure we'll
Right.
have in our community at some point. But
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I'm really, really happy to hear you kind of echoing some of our findings, that they're not just these stray findings that we had. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's really, there's a huge opportunity to reach, because again, if you think about ads, and you can feel free just to go on LinkedIn and just surf around and look at the ads, because of course you're going to see them as a user. Most of the ads are products and services and consulting and software, or like, subscribe to this, journal or whatever. um, I'm going to recommend, which same thing I recommend on Facebook and Instagram, that we do content-based ads, meaning ads that are just trying to educate people. It's a text-only post, or it's a video, or it's a link to a blog post or something like that, because your ad will stand out. It's like, huh, this person's not selling anything here. They're just trying to educate, and it doesn't even look like an ad sometimes when you're just, you just looks like a post. So if you keep that in mind, okay, we are advertising to some potential clients, but also to potential colleagues and referral sources, and we use content that, just pick your content that got the most engagement in the past. If you've shared 10 articles before, well, which of the 10 got the most comments or the most meaningful comments? We'll take that one and run a LinkedIn ad on that. Or if you've uploaded 10 videos, 20 videos, which one got the most likes? Well, maybe put that on LinkedIn. LinkedIn videos, I think, need to be less than 10 minutes. So relatively short videos, but you could run ads on those. And especially if you're going to do a video, by the way, you should keep it shorter, more interesting, so people actually want to watch the video. But
right.
articles and links to your website are certainly very acceptable for LinkedIn ads.
That's awesome. Um, as we come to the end of the conversation, are there any, I don't know, any details or anything, particular advice that you want to add to what you've already said, or
Yeah, well, I'll
people
say
can get?
a little bit about like when is the right time to run ads. I'll just say one quick thing on that is, when do you want to reach more of the right people with relatively less effort? I mean, that's really, because it's like, if you think about like, how do we reach more people? I mean, there's only a couple ways of doing that. I mean, you might post content that goes viral, but that's really hard to do. And yes, over time, as you post more content, some of it will be shared, but that's like a really long-term thing. You could connect with colleagues and friends like we're doing here, where we interview each other, and that's fine too. But it's like ads. It's like, okay, is my business worth $100 a month to reach more people? And I would say, yes, your business is worth that. It's and so it's like $100 a month. If I think of ads, the weirdest thing, I always say, I think of ads as ministry, like, because most of my ad dollars are just posting content. I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to uplift people, trying to shift their mindset towards a more authentic way of doing business. Whatever it is your content also uplifts people, helps people. And if you think of your ad dollars as, gosh, even if you don't sell anything, you could just be uplifting people, and people find out about you, and of course they'll come to your company page, look at your about page, and all that stuff. You'll get inquiries just by putting content ads out there. But occasionally, of course, you could put some of your offer ads out there and say, hey, we have this service, or we have this event coming up. Those are great too. So anyway, so I hope this is helpful to kind of give a framework for what's possible with LinkedIn ads.
I think it is. I mean, it really is. And just to, again, echo what you're saying, putting out content as part of an advertising strategy. I mean, I'm basically echoing and affirming what you're saying, is that,
Yeah.
You're building trust.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've said for years is that it's severely underestimated how long it takes someone to make a significant purchasing decision.
Yes.
They're not buying a bagel.
Yes.
Even if they're spending $100 on a
Right.
course, or they're spending several
Yes.
$100s or
Yes.
thousands of dollars, on
Yeah.
development, it takes a while for
Yeah.
their needs and their resources and the timing and their trust in you to all
And it's
line up.
respectful.
It is
when
respectful,
you
right?
allow that, rather than
Yes.
saying, this is the first time you've ever heard about me, I better persuade you in whatever way, manipulate you to
Yeah.
buy now. It's like,
no, it's gross. That's why
yeah.
a lot of times we get really repelled. But if you can
Yeah.
trust people's timing, if we trust
Yes.
people's timing and
Yeah.
trust people, like, oh, what I'm here to do is to lift you up and to give you
Yes.
from what I have,
Yes.
then it naturally builds trust. We've seen this over the 20 years I've been doing business.
Yeah.
It's just been there. And
You have the grounded experience that's true.
it is absolutely true. And
Yeah.
and it just works over time. So I just want to just what I'm saying, echo and affirm
Yeah.
what you're saying. It's
Thank you.
beautiful. Is
Yeah.
there,
Thank you.
given that, and given the fact that there are some people in our audience who know you very well, are there any offers or anything that you want to direct people to in this
Well, so
moment?
I actually am teaching a LinkedIn course coming up. It's going to be in the fall, and it's going to be, I've taught LinkedIn courses before for years, but I never taught ads as part of this. So this is the first time I'm going to include the whole step-by-step ad process that I use on LinkedIn. So if people are interested, you could kind of look for that from me in the fall. Yeah.
Awesome. And if you're in his audience drinking up his delicious content anyway, you'll just see a notice of that when it's because
It'll
he's
come up.
good at making his
Yeah.
offers visible, as we all should
Hopefully.
be, right? So
Yeah.
excellent. Anyway, there'll be links to his LinkedIn company page and profile. There'll be all
Yes.
the
Yes.
links will be below.
Yes.
I just, I'm just grateful that you came here and are so generous with what you've been finding out, and
Thank you, Mark. Yeah.
overwhelming people in a beautiful way with spreadsheets and things like that. It's awesome.
And Mark, if you ever have any questions about LinkedIn ads, email me anytime, of course. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, folks. I hope that this has been nourishing and encouraging, and I just wish the best to everyone, to you and your business. Peace.